It's been some time already since the last time I created something with Infusions from PaperArtsy, so today it's the day. I'm creating a lot with them. It's JOANNAMARQUET here, Lemon Creation. Welcome to my channel. It's been also some time since I opened my old art journal book, altered book, and so today is the day again for something I haven't done for a while. And I'm using a ground absorbent, and it's something similar to gesso, but I'm gonna do a comparison video maybe on Instagram because I think it's gonna be quite short. It gives you, when you apply colors on it, it gives you brighter, nicer colors than if you do it on gesso. And I took a piece of this builder's tape and I just kind of squish it to the page while the ground was still wet, and that's my fingers. And that's the effect, which I absolutely love. That's the first time I've done it also. So let's start with Infusions. I'm starting with a bit Jaded, and I'm gonna be mixing it with a texture paste. It's a White Crackle from Finnabair. I haven't done that before. You know, Infusions, they have a walnut stain, and so when you apply it on the water, when you sprinkle it over the wet page, you will get not only the color, like in this case, you know, a turquoise, but also a walnut stain, so the brown stain. And that's what I was afraid, mixing it with the texture paste, but it actually gave me a very beautiful turquoise color. And I'm applying it through my stencil, one of my stencils. This one is quite big. In my shop I have a smaller ones, but I wanted for this page to do a geometrical kind of layout, a little bit magical also. And so I used this stencil. I thought it's gonna look good, and after drying I left it for a few hours. I got the crackles, and you're gonna see them more on the close-ups, but they are there. They are not huge crackles, but they are there. And the next paint I'm using, it's Violetta, and now you're gonna actually see the walnut stains, what's happening, you know, when you spray it with water. I applied it to a dry page this time, and I just spray it afterwards, but you can apply it to also wet page, whichever way you want. Each way you apply, you will get a different result. So, you know, it's for you to experiment. Of course, I'm gonna be adding some stamps with Stazon ink because it stays on the paper and it will not, you know, react with water. And this is one of my stamps I'm gonna use too. I love that. I designed it especially because I love borders and I wanted to have many of them, and in my stash, so I can reuse them all over again. So that's what I'm doing. And this stamp is from Ecclectica series from PaperArtsy, also designed by Kindelo. I really love her designs. It's a little funky, but still kind of geometrical still. So I said, why not, you know, to add a little bit of funkiness into a very grungy page. And of course I add some stamping with numbers, but also keeping the geometrical form and trying to make it, you know, on both sides, and not even, but kind of following the way where the paint went. And the red stamp at the end, it was a stamp from Viva Las Vegas, designed by Dedicatron. And to add more numbers even, I used this kind of cardboard numbers I have for some time ago. I rarely use them, so I want to go through my stash a little. I don't want to keep too many things, you know. I actually want to use the ones I haven't been using for a while. So I'm applying just a coat of acrylic black paint. It's a paint for children basically, and I don't care about that because I'm gonna be covering the numbers a little bit with wax and with microbeads, which you're gonna see in a moment. And also to add a little bit more of texture to it, I apply again, as you can see right now, a layer of paint, kind of leaving a tiny lumps of paint on it. And then, yes, fighting now to pick up the number. And then I applied a little bit of microbeads from Stewart. And like that, they kind of go inside the paint, they get stuck into the paint, and after trying they are still there. I don't have to use the glue. So as I said, the texture cannot, there has to be a texture, the paint cannot be you know, smooth, because otherwise they're not gonna get attached, they will fail. I'm gonna be adding some wax to it to make the color, you know, more connected to the page. And I have a problem with this wax. Wax is electric violet. It has mold all over it, and despite the fact that I'm closing the box very well, every time I remove the mold and it's coming back, and well, I will not buy it again, that's for sure. It's not my favorite wax anyway. And that's the numbers. I kind of like them. They add some grunginess. And now time for a focal point. The chipboards are from Snip Art. They are, as you can see, stamp chipboards, but I use it as a frame. And this is Boogie Down Black Embossing Powder from Lindy's Skunk. I know it's very hard to see on the screen, but you know, yeah. Anyway, normally I should put all the products in the description box below. So I'm embossing the chipboards, and then I'm gonna cover it with the embossing powder, and I do it twice on the big frame because the first cover wasn't good enough. As you can see, I use half of the per frame. I kind of cut it into two pieces, because I very much like when the things kind of go out of the page. I think it adds a little, you know, something to the page, and that's what I'm gonna do also with number one, but you're gonna see later. And I absolutely love this picture. And printing my pictures now on the matte photo paper, because they do not smudge. They have you have less chances of actually making them dirty. And here I'm adding a little bit of 3D paste, and this is normally a paste which will go with the how do you say it, with the stencil. But because I didn't have a wax of this color, I decided to actually add a little bit on the edges, and the color matches perfectly. As you can see, you know, a bit jaded or jaded, you know, the infusion I used, you know, for with the stencil. And this is lazy me. I didn't want to get up and go look for water, so I used the water from my sprayer bottle. And this is one of the techniques I use from time to time. I'm just, you know, sprinkling the water all over the page and then adding embossing powder to it, because it's gonna stick. Of course, you cannot do it for intricate designs or for stamps, you know, because it's not gonna give you the same effect. But if you want grunginess, why not? This is the way to go. And then, you know, with the splatter you have these irregularities, which are super nice, and I really love them. The only thing you have to remember about is, as I said always, anyway, start heating up the embossing powder with the first setting, with the smallest setting on your heat gun, and then continue with the higher one if you want. It needs, you know, the embossing powder, it needs a while to stuck to the page instead of flowing all around the place. So this is the way to go, and I always do it, especially when you emboss with water. And as you can see now, I am cutting my number one a little, so it again sticks out kind of from the page. I don't know if sticks out is a good word here, but it kind of like go out of it. I think you know what I mean. I hope. And I'm gluing everything with a Nouveau Deluxe Glue. I keep on repeating lately, it's been my big discovery, something I absolutely love. It's something really nice. It doesn't clog, it works really well, it adheres quite quickly. Super messy words, of course, they are mine words. I kind of design them, yes, because I use different fonts, and I did it for myself, so they're the words I like, so that's why I use them so often. And you can find them in my shop, of course, and the link is gonna be below in the description box. And to add a tiny bit of coherence to the page, I use Sassy Saphire Lindy's spray, and you will see after drying, I actually wiped it also with the tissue. It is almost identical in color to the stenciling part of the page. Guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. For once, not Lindy's Infusions, even though there are Lindy's accents in it. And I kind of like it. It's magical and grungy and cool. I wish you all a beautiful day, and I hope to see you soon in my next video. Please don't forget to subscribe, leave me a comment if you wish, and bye bye!